Have you ever wanted to live out your fantasy of being able to enhance your body with cybernetics and wreaking havoc upon heartless corpo scum? Don't lie to me, I know you have. We're all men here. That is what people told me this game is all about. And they were mostly right. Would have been nice if they also told me about the emotional damage that comes along with it. Seriously, what is it about depressing settings just finding me and devastating my emotional state? I can't overload someone's mind with these tears in my eyes, damn it. I didn't sign up for this. And that is what this video is about. Not the tears in my eyes, but it won't be like my other videos where I give you a general idea of what to expect with some lackluster jokes and edits thrown in. No, this is all about the people of Night City. Not just the main characters, even though they are the best examples about how Night City just brutalizes someone physically and emotionally. Welcome to the world of Cyberpunk Choom, where the American dream went to die and came back as the American nightmare. So grab yourself some synth coffee, sit down, and let me tell you why you should delta the fuck out of Night City the first chance you get. Cause trust me, I would be surprised if I didn't get short-circuited within maybe a month of living in Night City, or even got flatlined. In my playthrough, V came from the corporal life path, and worked for Arasaka, which, that fact alone, makes him a massive scumbag on its own, as not only does he get ordered to kill the boss of his boss by his boss, just because his boss was snubbed at promotion, but his company also ordered the murder of the ESA's council after finding out that Arasaka owned a hidden railgun installation on the moon, without the knowledge of anyone really. But adding to that, Arasaka also has close ties with the Yakuza, participates in bribery, blackmail, extortions, and of course, assassinations, as seen in the prologue. The plot by V's superior to kill Abernathy, which is his superior, gets ratted out by that one guy who was to send you some documents in the very beginning, which then causes you to be confronted by Abernathy's security detail, and it is revealed for just complying with what you are told to do by your superior, you lose everything. Anything and everything you possess is taken from you, just like that. And not complying with the hit order was not an option. What happens if you fail to comply, you may ask? Well, you learn how to dive and get some sick new boots and a fresh new haircut. So, there you are, with your buddy Jackie, now homeless, with only 10,000 eddies to your name and the clothes on your chroned up body. Now a merc trying to eke out a living in the city of dreams. You take gigs that range from item deliveries to confronting gangs and all the way up to sabotaging the corporations on the behest of other corporations. During the entire game, you can decide whether to kill or just to incapacitate your enemies. And while from a game perspective, it makes no difference whatsoever, which is kind of a problem which I attribute to the disastrous launch of the game, one could also look at it from an in-world perspective, where the lack of difference between killing someone and letting them live makes no difference either. Night City will not care for the average Joe, even if you work for the corpos. Your enemies are replaceable and will be thrown into the meat grinder with no reluctance. And the same goes for you. During the heist to get the relic, you witness how Yorinobu Arasaka kills his father, Saburo Arasaka. Yorinobu being the Arasaka equivalent to Johnny Silverhands, as his goals also include taking down the corpos, and, well, resting on his laurels, but that is besides the point. This heist leads to you losing your best friend Jackie and implanting the relic into your own head. I don't think I need to go on any further, as you all know the story. Failure was not tolerated by your fixer, Dexter Deshawn, who upon arrival had V executed and dumped in a landfill. This is where V's story should have ended.
The game was rigged from the start.
But through a stroke of luck, or misfortune, depending on how you look at it, you come back to life due to Johnny forcing you back. But even being brought back to life was not the saving grace you thought it might be. Even now, you are a dead person walking, the chip slowly removing all that you are and overriding it. This is not even the worst part. Some may be able to make peace with the fact that they at least got a few more months to go on before suffering a rather drawn out and painful death. But just as with the inevitability of taxes, the anticipation of it coming is usually worse than it happening. V knows their days are numbered, and all throughout the game, side missions excluded, V grows more and more desperate to find a way to survive, to avoid this gradual loss of identity and inevitable demise. During the final mission, you decide on what to do now. Do you assault Arasaka directly, or do you flatline yourself? Choosing to flatline yourself is the easy way out. Both you and Johnny cease to exist. It is peaceful. You go out on your own terms. You can be at ease, knowing what your fate is, and embracing it, welcoming it with open arms. A Pyrrhic victory. Choosing to spit in the face of your fate can happen in two ways. Either you ask for help from the friends you made along the way, or you go in alone, picking up where Johnny left off. Increasing your chances by taking a friend with you will end with them getting smashed. And that knowledge is very well known to V. Asking for aid means dooming someone else, just for a chance to maybe save your own life. And once you do actually reach your goal and you slot into the terminal, you find that your life is forfeit no matter what. It doesn't matter what you do, you are doomed. That friend that got a chiropractor's appointment with Adam Smasher may just have died for nothing. You again have two choices. Live your life for the limited amount of time you have, and then die anyway, but at least you got to die as a free person, or give up your body, let Johnny take over, and vanish into the black wall yourself, potentially gone forever. So even the one thing that is supposed to save your life will only allow you two options that doom you one way or another. I chose to let Johnny have a second lease on life, as if V chose to remain in their body, both Johnny and V would perish. This way, at least one of them gets to live. And Johnny, having been broken in a past war, where the corpus again just showed him how dispensable he is, and afterwards losing Alt Cunningham to Arasaka, deserved a second chance at life. And you, as V, are one of the better off people in Night City. You didn't have to join a gang, didn't have to live on the streets, and had the skills to pay the bills. That is not something many in Night City can say about themselves. Look at the Wells family. Their family broken by abuse and losing family members to gang fights. Fear for Jackie's life each time he goes out. A fear that quickly became a nightmare as Mama Wells' last son is fatally shot and bleeds out in the aftermath of the heist. Spurned by ambition and desire for a better life for himself and his family, he rushed for more intense and risky jobs to reach the big leagues. He was infatuated with a merc's version of the American dream, and this singular pointed focus to carve out his own legend in Night City threw him and you into the very real American nightmare, which you experience more and more the more gigs and side jobs you do up until the very end. In one of these, very early on actually, you meet Evelyn Parker, a woman with lofty goals and the drive to reach those very goals. And to that very end, she took a deal with a gang known as the Voodoo Boys, as she was regularly hired by Yorinobu Arasaka, who was adjacent to the goal of the gang. She then hired Jackie and V to grab the biochip, noticing how valuable it truly is before the Voodoo Boys can get to it. Obviously, that didn't go well. But that sadly was the least of Evelyn's misfortunes. After the heist fails, she goes into hiding at Clouds, which is where the nightmare for her really began. The Voodoo Boys hacked her while she was connected, which left her in a nigh comatose state, but very well aware of her surroundings. Some horrible stuff was done to her by the owner of Clouds, and then she was just pawned off to some psychos who created XPDs. Thankfully, she managed to survive the creation of those. Unfortunately, her captors decided to just make more. One can imagine that such a thing would leave someone broken beyond saving. Someone with an innocent aspiration laid low because she dared try to have a better life. On the complete opposite end, we have Jefferson Perales, an up-and-coming mayoral candidate with a heart of gold and a man of the people. He truly does his best to make Night City a place where people are seen as people and not just assets to be used. Even being the single vote against a new bill that exempts the corpse from having to pay taxes that reach up to the trillions. It is at this point that it is revealed the prime mayor was assassinated, leading to these new votes. And it is also revealed that Jefferson and his wife's memories are being tampered with. Memories of a break-in being erased in order to let Jefferson fully focus on the election. Memories of trips that never happened, and changes to his personality so he stays the perfect mayoral candidate no matter what. Once you uncover this plot, you figure out that this had been going on for a while, and there's no way to track who is behind it, as they're just too good, and there's no way to stop it. If you choose to tell the paralysis about this, the wife will be distraught, but Jefferson will genuinely start unraveling. He will no longer know what is real and what is not. Not telling him might just be the better option, as if you do tell him, he'll become a paranoid man that can no longer trust his own mind and will suspect everyone and everything. And honestly, would it be so bad to let Jefferson and his wife Elizabeth be the truly good people that this mind control has made them? Would it not be better for everyone involved to not let Jefferson unravel? But then one has to wonder, what are the ulterior motives of this mystery group that is helping Night City by making a perfect man of the people? Would it be morally correct to let the two of them become people who they never were? To lose their identity in not too much of a different way than what is happening to V? It is things like these that truly show how fucked up Night City is, as even the kind, good people may not even be who they believe they are, but instead simply are puppets to an unknown, overwhelming force deciding their every step. Do tell me in the comments, what do you think? Is it worse to let them go to their past selves where they potentially might be horrible people? Or let their mind control continue? And in the middle between people like Jefferson and Evelyn are people such as River Ward. He's a character that does not work for the corpos, nor does he work for a random company in the city. River works for the city as a detective who sits in one of the most interesting positions in Night City as someone who swore to uphold the law and bring anyone to justice, but is being hampered by superiors acting like the scum that they are meant to fight. River became a detective as he saw pure incompetency within the NCPD due to them failing to find the thugs who killed his parents. This event led to River developing an insatiable lust for justice, even if it puts a target on his back. Motherfucker tried to become Batman. He tries his best to help the people of NC find the justice they deserve, but is forced out of the police force due to him snooping around in places where superiors do not want him to snoop around in. More specifically, him reopening the case of the former mayor being assassinated gets him kicked out, locking him out of the resources needed to aid in his quest to improve the streets of the city. Though this does not stop him from seeking justice, as after he was kicked out, he asks V to aid him in a search for his nephew, who was abducted by a serial killer who thought he was aiding the sick by pumping them full of drugs with gas mask-like masks strapped to their faces in a far-off cow barn where he strapped young adults to tables. And even if you manage to avoid doing deals with gangs, become a target in a high position, or snoop around in places you're not supposed to, you may just become a victim of gang violence, corporal violence, or the target of random mercs who take you away to become the highlight in some XBDs for some psycho's enjoyment. In the gig, Dirty Biz, you come across a father and son who create XBDs that may just be some of the worst shit I've seen in video games before. Thankfully, they don't actually show what is in those BDs, but the fact that these snuff films have names such as these is just plain horrifying. If one were to play devil's advocate, one could say at the very least the father knows that what they're doing is wrong. But his kid seems like he has no remorse, thinking he could even sell us one of these XBDs. He truly thinks that we are just some crazed customer or could just be bought by giving us one of the very things that we are here to destroy. It is sickening just to think that you may just be a throwaway entertainment piece for someone. You may have tried your best to live an upstanding life. You may have tried to stay out of trouble to your best of your ability. Or you just may be an innocent youngling. Night City will brutalize you, whether you deserve it or not. Night City itself The buildings are built so close and so high that it feels like an endless maze you can never leave. Skyscrapers growing into the heavens, blotting out the sky itself, and spreading out so far and wide that you can no longer see the horizon. Your living space will be a dull, grey, copy and pasted brick of an apartment, created more to fit as many people in as little space as possible to maximize monetary gain than to offer you with any sort of human decency. There is no way to escape, as even trying to get out of Night City will take you through the Badlands, which are heavily monitored, poisoned by the corporals dumping their waste there, and also have their own gangs that might just kill you on your way out. Or if fate decides to be especially jovial, and you have some implants, you may just go cyber psycho, or die to someone randomly going cyber psycho. And your issues? They will be turned into something marketable. Think of flatlining yourself? Well, here is a neat little product that might keep you from doing so for a short while, after which you would need more of this. But if you do decide to go through with it, hey, don't worry. Here are some services and packages for funerals or incinerations. The news will try to make all of this seem normal, and may even... no, hold on. Will sensationalize the violence going on in the city, all the while also trying to sell you on things to keep your mind off of the insanity with some dubious toys. Or let's say you aren't happy with your life. Don't try to actually better it, just take this highly overpriced thing and feel better. If that doesn't work, well, screw you. And you know the best part from all of this? Let's say you get away from all the predicaments you are in. You survived a shootout, you just got away from the serial killer's cow farm, you survived an OD, but just barely, and you are in need of immediate medical attention. Think there will be anyone there to save you? No. Trauma team may just leave you to die if you do not have a payment plan, just to add on top of all the bullshit that is going on. Night City will chew you up and not even spit you back out. It does not matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you are. Night City will take and take and take until there's nothing left to take.